Network Automation Nerds podcast. This episode is brought to you by Packt Publishing, calling all system administrators. Check out Mastering Windows Server 2022, your complete guide for managing Windows servers 2022. For security engineers, explore Keycloak, Identity and Access Management for Modern Applications 2nd Edition. Gain a practical understanding of Keycloak to secure your apps with confidence. Visit packtpub.com today via the links in the show notes for these valuable resources. And don't forget, when you buy the print or Kindle book, you get a free ebook in PDF format. Now, back to the show. Hello, and welcome to Network Automation Nerds podcast, a podcast about network automation, network engineering, Python, and many other technology topics. I'm your host, Eric Chou. Today on the show, we're continuing our conversation with our inspiring guest, Eddie Chang, who was a longtime CCIE, a longtime veteran in the networking world, has worked in various environments, service provider, large enterprise, e-commerce, and also the founder of Ironwood Networks, and also the creator of this snapshot tool, network snapshot tool, N8A, which will go much deeper in this episode. If you haven't heard the last episode, please click on the link in the show notes and fresh up on that. But if you want to jump right into this tool, we could do that as well. So welcome back to the show, Eddie.
Hi, thank you.
It's been a while. No, not just kidding. We're actually recording this episode back to back, right? So we're actually moving right on in. But to the listeners, it might be like a week apart. But I'm happy that you get to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So last week we talked about your journey on kind of your background, your origin story, how you got into programming. And I remember where we left off was your tech stack involves a lot with Python, and we also mentioned at the top of the show that you founded your own company. You have this project that you created, which is, I believe, open sourced, or
it is.
Is it closed source?
Closed source.
Okay, got it. But there's a free trial for people to try it out.
Yes.
Okay, so
it's actually it's free for a limited number of devices.
Oh, okay. So it has like a freemium model where...
Yeah. So if you have a very small network, 25 or 50 devices, you actually can use it for free.
Nice.
There's no registration, no sign up. You can just download and use it for a small network.
Okay. So tell us, what is the tool, and did the tool come first or did the company come first?
It's actually the tool come first. So when I work in a networking environment, I always feel that we are dealing with a monster.
Okay. Elaborate.
I mean the network. It keep growing and growing, and you have the network administrator join the company, and then they did something, and then they left, and then there are multiple team or multiple people who make changes to the network,
right?
And a lot of time that we do not really know what's going on, what changed in the network.
Okay.
And those are things that keep us awake. And that's why I use a monster, and because you created it, and then it keep growing and growing to a point where you lose control.
Right.
If I can put it that way.
Organic grow. I heard people learn that term is just growing organically, because multiple people have touched it. And I remember at one point where I worked, there's like a rollback, like automatic rollback. So if you had done something manually without going through the tool where it's documented and logged, it actually gets rolled back. So if you change an IP address, but you just did it in a backhanded way, it's got to be rolled back. And people learn real quick to not do that without the tool.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to give control back to the human, or to the network engineers, right? You got to know what's going on, what has changed in your network, and I cannot, not that not that I can build a tool
Mhm.
that automatically troubleshoot or fix things, but at least I can help people to monitor what is going on inside the network. And that's why I decided, well, that was started as a very small tool, but then as we build bigger and bigger, it make it more packaging it and making it more user friendlier.
Mhm.
That's actually another thing in automation, is that we can write a lot of scripts that can do wonders.
Right.
However, only you yourself can use it. Other people don't have a clue how to use it. So
Right.
the big part of this NAA tool is that I want people to be able to log in, jump in, and be able to easily look around and know how to use it. Um, that's one of the big thing. How do you consume easily on the automation?
Got it. I mean, that's one thing I picked up just from that passage was kind of like the at the high level conceptual level, right? You want to create a tool that does one thing but does it really, really well. And the second thing I picked up was how does it interwork with other tools as well as the user interface, where we're hiding a lot of the complexity behind this interface so that it's easier for people to consume and use.
Exactly. Even today, there are a lot of good tools out there that still require quite a bit of learning curve.
Right.
And you have to know Linux, you have to know comfortable with command line, and there is a spectrum of network engineers, or actually apply to all the engineers. Some engineers are very keen in learning technologies like new techniques,
Right.
skills.
Right.
Those could learn Ansible, could learn Terraform, could learn programming a lot. And then there are another spectrum of people just don't have the time
Mhm.
to do it. Not saying that they are not able to, but just that they already so busy with their
Right.
day job. It's hard to ask them to spend another 20 hours a week, or 10 hours a week or something to learn something, to develop a automation.
Yeah.
But if there's a tool that allow people to just jump in and use the automation much more easier, that helps. I have this rule, like 3 a.m. rule that apply to network design.
Sure.
If you design something that you cannot understand 3 a.m. in the morning,
Right.
that may be too complex for other people to manage or
Mhm.
maintain. Well, that's exaggerated, obviously, but that is in a scenario where you're on call, you get paged 3 a.m. in the morning and ask you to
Right.
troubleshoot something, right?
Not even hungover, right?
Yeah.
You didn't even like you're sober, but you're just like 3 a.m. in the morning, so you're all
Yeah,
rocky. You're like, what's
yeah,
going on? What's
yeah.
left or right?
So if there's a tool or something that you cannot grasp quickly, 3 a.m. in the morning is probably too difficult,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. I mean, I also remember, was it Einstein who said if you can explain something to a intelligent 5-year-old, you probably don't understand yourself. So in the same vein, right? If you can simplify a procedure, process, or tool interface into something that you could use really easily, I think that's what you're getting at. Even when you're not thinking straight, then it's probably too complex of a tool for other people to consume.
Yeah. I'm not saying that those tools had no place in our toolbox. They
Sure.
are, but just that, can we, as a community, make something that is more easier to use, more easier for the end user to consume? That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to add to.
Yeah. I mean, I
It's,
see. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's sorry. Instead of output in a text format,
Mhm.
can you output it in a table format?
Right.
And the next step is, can you output in a map format,
Mhm.
in a picture?
Right.
That make a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. It's a human-centered design, right? Like
Yeah.
we humans naturally grasp to like graphs and visual versus text. So, back to what you were saying. But again, Eddie, I mean, I'm more interested in also on, what the tool is. So I think we've kind of covered the whys, right? Like your design principle for the kind of tool that you're looking for. And what is this tool? What is NAA, and what does it stand for?
Yeah. So I always wanted to have an assistant to help me do networking. So NAA stands for Network Automation Assistant.
Okay.
So
artificial intelligence again.
Something like that, not as smart as that, but something that at least help you do half of your job or 80% of your job at some situation.
The ones that you don't want to do, right? The ones that you want to offload to a dumb computer to do.
Yeah. So right now we're focusing on an area where started all this. So what is the first thing that a network engineer, when they are troubleshooting a network, what's the first question that they would ask? Is probably, hey, what changed in the network?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, it is difficult to tell what changed. So we have this concept of network snapshot.
Okay.
That it work on a multi-vendor environment. It take a snapshot of the entire network.
Okay.
Maybe a router, maybe a router, switches, firewall, whatever that is, load balancer or even servers, and is not restricted just to configuration. Is any show command you want it to take included in the snapshot, you can emphasize, you can give that to the tool, and it just take the snapshot. And once we have the snapshot, it can actually apply to a lot of use cases. So first of that is a backup. You already taken the configuration, just use it as backup. You can look back last week, what is it, like 2 weeks ago,
like a time machine on Apple.
And then another useful case is changes. Like I mentioned, we already have a lot of success in helping people troubleshoot their network just by looking at what changed yesterday. They can identify unintentional changes, and it's all show in a diff format, so they can restore the command very quickly by seeing exactly what the difference is and that is just one of the use cases. Once you can see the changes,
right?
And then the last thing is that you can do research on your network. How many times that you want to find an IP address, and you have to manually go into search the live device and look for that IP address. And like you say, we're human, we can miss. But if you have the entire global network information in one place, for all the vendors, you can just globally search the information, and it can also apply for inventory when it's time to update your devices. Maybe you need to find all the serial number of all the GBIC, for example.
Sure.
You find this all, you can search for this very quickly in one place. And back to my IP address, if you need to decom a server, you need to remove the IP configuration in the entire network. You can find that IP address. You find that this is in the firewall, this is in the load balancer, is in the router or switch. You see exactly where you need to remove your IP configuration, as example.
So by snapshot, you mean grabbing the like the show, using Cisco as an example, right? Your show runs, your show IP interface, show BGP table, show IP route table, and all of that, and you specify those show commands yourself. And what the tool does is keep it in the permanent storage, so you could retrieve it easily in the future.
Yeah, the concept is simple. You just specify all these show commands,
right?
And then it will just take the snapshot on all the devices and that's it, and then use this information any way that you want for any situation or application, maybe troubleshooting, triaging, doing research, preparing for your mob.
Yeah.
Just use it. It saves people a lot of time rather than doing it manually.
It's like having Rancid, but in a hosted environment. Would that be like a true statement, or is it much more?
And does Rancid only do configuration?
Possibly, because
so it's more than so it's more than
so it's a
configuration.
show,
So it's anything that you can think of in your device. So it's not even just show command. Let's say I wanted to take the snapshot of a ping or trace route result.
Right.
Include that in your snapshot, and it will send a ping. And then if you think about it, then I can use it for verification every day. I schedule it to run every day, and then it will do a ping to 1.1.1.1, for example.
Sure.
And then if it changed, if the ping failed, that means there's a change. And if there's a change, you get a notification. Then something is wrong. How come you cannot so it's good. And then another use case is do it before and after your mob or your maintenance.
Right.
So that
verifications.
For verification. So there are a lot more application that you can apply the snapshot to.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see all these tools that are coming out that it's being worked on, like your Suzy Qs, your Batfish, and now being introduced to the NAA. And I'm wondering, so that means you obviously have to have some kind of connectivity tissue between your tool and from what you described would be like a hosted version, right? And do you have to run some sort of agent inside of your network? How does it, so doing the ping, for example, how does it execute those and be connected to your device locally in your network?
Good point. Good that you bring that up. The concept is very simple. It's just like a human. You SSH into the device. And so any vendor, any devices, as long as it take SSH to a CLI, then just like Cisco device or Juniper device, you can SSH to it. And then those are the command that you specify in the snapshot. It SSH to the device, and then it issue all these show command or ping command for you. So that means for example, when you are verifying, like use our pinging example, you are not pinging from the NAA server to the destination. You are actually pinging what you want, which is from the device, from the router to whatever target that you're verifying. So
does the NAA tool run on-prem in your environment, or is it a hosted version only? Because the one I saw was actually a hosted version.
Okay. The one you saw is probably a demo that I put on our website. But it is an on-prem version, or you can run it in your cloud, your AWS, as long as the NA server have connectivity to your Cisco router or your Juniper devices, firewall, whatever. So as long as it has SSH connectivity to your devices, so then you can use it. We have people running it from AWS, which obviously that is their AWS cloud, or people run it on-prem. That's how you run it.
I see. So so obviously these snapshots need to be stored in a permanent storage. So does it require your hosted database, or is it something that it's already packaged within the tool itself?
It's all already packaged inside the tool itself. It's actually using Git to take care of the.
I see.
Yeah, so Git, everybody knows, it's already take care of the versioning. You can already search for what the changes are. It keep track very efficiently what the changes is within or the entire in the file or the history. So that's how it utilizes Git.
Got it. Got it. In the way you mentioned the interface for human to schedule these jobs and to get the results, do the git git diff and all that. Is this kind of a web front end that you're including, or is that also an API that you could plug in on top of it?
It is packaged and presented like a web page.
Okay.
So everybody can log into the NAA, and then they don't need to know any API. They don't need to know any special command. You don't need to learn new stuff. All you need to know is what you already know, which is your router's show commands. That's all.
Right.
And then you can just point and shoot, click, schedule the snapshot. And then when it's done, you just look for your difference, look for the snapshot, look at the changes that way. And then you can look at the history, compare the differences. So it's try to make it as user-friendly as possible. Again, in 3 a.m. in the morning, that helps you troubleshoot a lot faster.
Okay. Well, I hope I don't find out, but if I do, I'll let you know. Eric at 3 a.m. is not the Eric right now, at whatever time we're recording this at. But so how does the what you mentioned there is freemium, so if you have 25 nodes or less, it's free. But what are some of the licensing tiers that you're offering to your customers?
Right. So for small network, if you have less than 50 devices, you can pretty much use it for free for as long as you like. When you download it today, you get the 25 devices license already installed.
Okay.
And you don't have to register. You don't have to tell me, you just use it. And if you want to double it, you just let us know. And then we will send you a 50 device license for free as well. That way we know that who is using it.
Dude, Eddie, you're being an engineer. You should be more like a salesperson and say, "Hey, normally we don't do this, but hey, we like you, Eric, and then we'll give you the 50 node license for free."
Oh, I have something better. Since you're listening on Eric's show, so for the next 30 days, you can get 100 devices for free for 1 year.
Oh, hey, you heard it here first. And then, I don't know. I don't want to go into that sales pitch, but yeah, okay, great. So you're
serious. So in the next 30 days, just send us, download it, install it, use it. If you like it, send us a note, email us, and then mention about you heard about it from Eric's show, and then we'll give you 100 devices free license for the first year.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah. So so you mentioned normally, right? Let's just say you're not. It's 30 days has passed, but so you're you get the 50 node license by emailing you guys. You guys will get a free. So what are the next tiers above those?
The licensing is by the devices.
Okay.
So and by default it is 1 year term. So you can specify, and again the system is very simple to order. There's just an email, and then it's already included in the NAA. You just email us with the information about the NAA, and tell us if you need 200 devices or 1,000 devices, and then our sales team will get back to you and let you know, give you a quote on that.
Oh, got it. So it's almost like a customizable tier pricing. So there's no like fixed number that you're looking for, but rather it's case by case once you reach beyond that certain limit.
Yep.
Got it. So how did, so great tool, and it's very generous of you to, give back to the community. Obviously you spend a lot of time, a lot of development hours, but you're, paying it forward, almost speak, to help the progress for automation. So how did the company Ironwood Networks come about? So you mentioned the tool came first. So when was that because you get a lot of traction? Now you're starting a company to support that tool?
I work in a telco, and then the engineers start using it. getting some recognition, and then they say, "Oh, great! It must worth a lot." And at that time, I wasn't thinking about anything, but why don't you package it, and make it become something? Then I
Right.
thought, okay, I've been working in network engineering for quite some time. I really want to make something out of your own.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, I give it a try,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it got started. And so I just want to make a you watch Fish Tank, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shark Tank, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shark Tank.
No, Fish is
Yeah.
fine too.
Yeah,
It
for
might be
me,
the show, the sequel,
yeah,
but right now it's Shark
yeah,
Tank.
it's a nicer version of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Not as violent.
yeah, you want to make something, make a
Right.
product of your own, and then you hope that it will prove it to be something useful in
Right.
the industry. So
Right.
that's what I'm really hoping that
Nice.
yeah.
So
And
how?
again, 50 devices is a lot of small size company, even medium sized company.
Right.
They may not be technology oriented, but 50 devices already include all of their network.
Right, right. Or like a large chunk of their networks, right? They might
Yes,
have
yeah,
some like remote sites with like a switch out there,
yeah.
but the core of the devices could be 50 or less. So it's a very generous number.
Yeah. I really want to help people to, there's something that shouldn't be spend too much time on it. It
Like the
should be
reduce
offload.
tutorials.
Yeah, the toils, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you mind sharing some of the I guess the tractions of the tools? Obviously, you have uh certain people who liked it and used it in production, and so what are some of the good tractions that you've gained from founding the company to now?
I have some people, some uh, hospital using it.
Okay.
I won't name all the names, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. There's some hospital using it. I have some city, uh, uh, city of certain, you know, uh, uh, the government.
Yeah,
In,
like municipals.
yeah, municipals. Thank you. Is using it. And at one point, I have some telco even using it as well.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. And I try to let more people know that, hey, there's this tool here. If you don't have something better, why don't you use it?
Yeah, just give it a shot, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's super good to hear because the hospitals are very conservative,
Mhm.
and so are the municipals. They're
Yep.
conservative by nature, right? Like they don't want to make mistakes. That's almost their first rule. And rather than standing at the edge of the technology, so by the way that they trust your tool, it speaks volumes to kind of adaptation.
Yeah, and is it it I find that there are companies that is not technology oriented.
Right.
That networking is a expense in their book.
Right.
So they try to keep costs as low as possible,
Right.
and they don't have money to spend on all these cool, expensive tools.
Ansible
And
Tower.
and and so having some alternative is great. So
Right.
I get very good feedback in all the engineers that have come to use this tool. So that's how it keep me going on innovating and on developing the tool.
That's wonderful. So where do you see maybe the tool and yourself in the next 1 to 3 years? Is that something that you hope to continue to develop? I mean, I assume it's yes, but I'd like to hear, kind of words from yourself.
Yeah, not just 1 to 3 years, maybe 6 or 9 years.
Right, right, right,
I just want to keep innovating,
right.
and this networking is not going away. The monster is not going away. And
Unfortunately, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Just keep
and
on growing.
yeah, so you need something to help you, and if eventually, if I can have a vision, I would hope that it really evolve into a true assistant where it can even talk to you and tell you every when I want to know how my network health is doing, I can just ask, hey, how's my network doing today? And then you'll get a response, and with all these information of what you should do, or what the network is
Right.
doing so far. Um, so it's become truly what the name means,
The
NA as
assistant.
a
Yeah.
assistant,
Right.
automation assistant.
Right.
It's living inside your network, helping you from within the network.
Right. Because we're mandatory to mention LOM and ChatGPT in every single episode. We cannot say goodbye until we mention some sort of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and LOM. So no, I'm just kidding. But it is actually a very logical path, right? Like you have these data, and then you have the easy way to retrieve these data. And next step is actually to make it more smarter, make the user interface, maybe through voice, maybe through, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say her name because it's going to blast, starts with the A and ends with XA, that you have your voice interface and then just say, hey, how is my interface doing? Is it feeling blue, or is it still pinging?
Yeah. Even, you may, instead of having a color alert, maybe is connected smartly into your house light,
Oh my God.
or to
That's
your
tripping. You're like walk back home and your room is red, and you'll be like, okay, which BGB peer is down?
yeah, okay, yeah, okay. That may be too exaggerated. We don't want
Yeah,
AI to be too close to us, but yeah, that's
exactly.
my point is keep innovating.
Sure.
Today you have automation, we're getting into AI. Who knows? There may be more stuff that can make your life much easier.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I think it's really great to see people who are, contributing to the community, working toward that goal. Each of us could just do a little bit and make other people's life, a little bit better. That's all it takes, right? Like if
Yeah,
everybody do the same, then the world would be a much better place than we're in right now. So, yeah, let's go tame that monster that you're talking about.
exactly.
So, I mean, this is a good conversation. We could probably go on a lot longer, but I know, we're right up against the time. So before we say goodbye, I want to ask you, what is your favorite network engineering technology?
Okay, I'll keep it quick.
No, no,
Um,
no. I mean, take your
oh,
time, but we just don't have like another 5 hours.
yeah, may I, I I may not be a favorite technology, but a smart way to apply technology. IP anycast, right?
Yeah,
Normally, the rule is that you should not have duplicate IP address in your network.
sure.
However, whoever created IP anycast, this
Anycast.
idea, yeah,
Right.
anycast is not a new concept, but you are actually using something you are not supposed to use, but turn it into something useful.
Sure.
It turns out that for a single transaction, having a anycast is good for redundancy, more effective. Um, Having such as like the DNS reply, you can
Exactly.
use IP anycast very perfectly.
Right.
So I think that's a very smart twist of the networking,
Mhm.
and make it something useful. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, the BGP remote trigger black hole.
Yes.
Um, and that's another smart way to use the technology. We never thought of, BGP is a routing protocol, right?
Right.
Then you can turn it into something that become a defensive system,
Right.
and it's just a clever way to and to use what it is today and make it even better. At one point when I was working telco, I was in some security conference. I was uh, touting the idea that if the ISP can form a alliance,
Right.
and then utilize the BGP black hole technology.
Yeah. The remote trigger black hole.
Right. And then maybe they can quickly notify each service provider that, hey, there's a
DDoS
bad,
attack. Yeah.
DDoS coming in from this source IP, and then we can just raise up a kind of like an Iron Doom or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a shell.
Block,
like a shield. Yeah.
To block that, utilizing the remote black hole, remote trigger black hole technology. So
Right.
that is an interesting way to use the routing protocol to be something that is even more useful.
Yeah, we're just riding that BGP horse to the ground, man. There's no replacement. Has been other attempts, but we're just gonna keep adding stuff to it until until we can't do that anymore. We're just utilize communities. We use like all these other stuff. Until we can't do it no more. But so far so good.
Yeah. You can use BGP to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love those IP Anycast. I agree. That's a pretty kind of non-traditional way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I think what you're getting at is expand on what's working, but also be creative and innovative and use it for other use cases. And even just take the rules as a suggestion rather than like this hard limitation, right? These are all man-made rules, and yes, it says in the RFC, but we could actually have another RFC that go against that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Think outside of the box. Yeah.
Think outside of the box.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So before I say goodbye, favorite networking technology, any call to action? I think I have a good guess, but go ahead.
Yeah. Again, in the next 30 days, if you send us the email and then let us know, mention that you heard of us from Eric Chou, who give you 100 device license for free for the next year.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'll be so embarrassed if like a total of 2-person, showed up. Like my reachability, it'll be like one of them's like my mom or something, but but that's all good. I mean, I appreciate you being on the show, Eddie. I really enjoyed our conversation, and thanks again for being on the show.
And thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm glad chatting with you, and I was surprised that we know the same people.
Oh my God, we should we should go reach out to Terry and grab a beer or something, or whatever it is that's prevailing, the Canadian brand of beer. Do cheers.
Yeah, good. Great.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Network Automation Nerds podcast today. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other podcast platforms. Until next time, bye-bye.